Okay, welcome to Mori, episode 25. I'm here with Koma.
Hi.
Hey. Well, Qbhall should pop in a couple of minutes, maybe Montag, but we're not sure. So yeah.
All right.
And last time, right the day before Nia's birthday, we made a huge collage on for 3 months or something like that. Where all kinds of drawings put in one collage for his birthday, put on Twitter. But he never liked it for some reason. He did like some other artwork that was also on there, but not ours for some reason. It was like 8,000 eyes on it. Last year it was like 6,000 plus or something like that. So
Hmm.
word spread around. So
Well, it's
uh,
nice.
yeah, it went pretty well. This is the thing itself, basically. And it's on my own Twitter. Uh, the text was apparently too long, so I had to make a separate post to the rest of the things. But I don't know, it works.
Pretty nice.
Yeah, the background is from Tower Dungeon, and they have all different characters. We had like five less than last year, but two of them were like one was like a Wojak meme, and the other was just a she stick figure. So could care less really. So
You do not see something like this that often when it comes to celebrating the birthday of an author, or I mean,
no,
granted,
really no.
Nihei is a popular artist, but it's not to the same level as someone else. And
Yeah, that recently died, for instance. But I mean,
yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
I don't know.
putting that aside, like maybe perhaps when somebody, uh, some like Blame, for example, which is an iconic manga, but
Mhm.
not many people have actually read it. I mean, uh,
Yeah, true,
compared
and
to other,
obviously,
maybe
yeah,
the more an author is niche, the more chances are that the community following his work is going to be more interested in celebrating the birthday or stuff like that. Oh, hello, Qbhall.
shit,
Hello. Uh,
we barely hear you.
Yes,
ah,
if you can do
uh,
something about it.
not sure. This no.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Some artists really get a lot of attention and just get stuff all the time, and we just, I don't know. Last time we just had the idea like, let's make a collage, and
Hello.
that's basically the result of that in a nutshell.
Hmm.
I
Yes,
mean,
sir.
some people were like last minute, just really pushing it. One guy was like 8 hours doing the drawing straight just to get it finished. Well, you get 3 months to do it, so I'm like, why would you do that? But I
Oh,
thought
it's Qbhall.
shotgun.
Qbhall.
Are you alive?
Yeah. Is it any better?
Not really.
Slightly. I mean, a little, but
Or, or what about now? Um,
Mm,
mm,
well, in the meantime, I can show.
is it any better or uh
it's
No,
is
needs
it's
to
the
go
same.
up.
this now?
Mm.
Hello. Is it any different now? I don't know. This
No,
setting
Pretty
changes.
much the same.
Yeah. This is no different now.
no, it's the same.
No, it's basically the
I
same.
don't know. This setting is useless in this mic volume thing. This one.
I mean, from my side, I can't really change anything because it's already at max. So it's really on
Yeah,
your
but
side, I guess.
they actually have a mic volume thing here, but it's useless. I don't think I've ever gotten it.
Might be on your phone itself, I guess.
Try to put your mouth
One
closer
second.
to. Mm.
He has the drawing that he worked on like 8 hours straight, and that got liked by Nihei, by the way. I mean, it is nice, but a whole collage were full of them. I mean, especially on his birthday, I had like 7 in the morning at the post because somebody had a theory that Nihei would see it at that time for some reason, but didn't. So
Hello?
I
Is it any different now?
yeah,
I mean,
Different?
more or less the same.
kinda,
All right.
pretty
I
much.
don't know. The only thing I have to do is restart and see.
Yeah, it's right, Ed.
I mean, it was slightly worse before, but
Yeah. This is from Tower Dungeon, the cat girl, but then it's just as a regular cat in a costume. I don't know.
so Nihei has liked the work you guys have done. You guys have done.
Hmm?
He has noticed Nihei.
Well, not a collage, just one guy. He has noticed this guy. He has
Yes,
noticed, and beyond that, nobody else for some odd reason.
sad.
True, true. Same as last year, but that was the first time she really had to get started. Oh, yeah, this was from M. There's also a guy from Japan that also makes drawings for him, or like small booklets. He also sells on his own site, etc., etc., etc. Also a big Nihei fan. Can also speak English. Well, type English, probably not speak English, but yeah, it's high quality.
He can manage. All right.
Yeah, there's a lot of no real clue who the fuck this is. It's probably, I don't know, girl from the Orb or something. No clue. He himself is also pretty high quality. Also from the same guy that made the side with that's online now.
All right. Have you guys fixed the problem with the background or
Yeah,
this?
yeah, yeah, that's completely solved now. It was something like a plugin that had an error. We
I
had
see.
to skip the pull that one out and then just get back in, and the whole thing works again. We don't have to work from an old save or something like that. So that's fine now. Qbhall's entry. Let me see if it's back or not. No. Yeah, I mean, the site fully works again. Updated it. Want to do an widget into it, and Twitter widget. So see a feed of Ni's tweets. Now that he tweets a lot, but yeah, I don't know. Doesn't really want to work, so I have to look into that again. But
I think
I
this
don't
one
know.
is very nice.
Yeah. Some of these are really detailed, really well done. This is natuurlijk the Biomega guy, the first enemy we encounter. Sonicon, boy, also really well done. Also really detailed. I don't know, some of these are really good. I mean, I also put mine into it, but I don't know. It's different than last year's, obviously. This is a drawing from Aiko. Mifi, which is kind of, I don't know, puts me off somehow. It's just so weird. I have Bachinier is based as also an artist, also a really detailed artist. Does also a lot of Nihei artwork. There's a guy that makes Lego models of all the Nihei characters from Blade, basically Safeguards, Kiri, Sibo, whatnot. Just everything from Lego. He doesn't
Wow.
talk a lot more anymore, but he still participates in this, so that's pretty nice. also.
Which one
Yeah,
is your favorite?
I guess the more detailed ones, like or Sibo, or like stuff like Sonicon, or this guy, just like the highest quality ones. I don't know. I'm a sucker for the high detail and originality. So yeah, Metal Man, also long time member. A little Sonicon. Sibo, I mean. Keely is a bit too dark though, but makes sense. Also creepy. Yeah, cute. Yeah. Disco is the one that organized the whole thing, made a safeguard. That's also draw. Tower Dungeon, Kitty again. Sadako and Sipo was level 9, and these kind of cute. And this is mine. Yeah, I couldn't really make a good PNG of it, so it looks like this, but it looks better on white paper, basically. This is from Sknit, by the way. This is from the general from Sknit. It's just a robot, basically. I don't know.
Um,
Want something else than just the rest doing blame stuff, so why not this?
it's fine.
Yeah, he's back. Alright.
Right?
Hello. Uh,
Hmm?
am I audible?
Yeah.
You are.
Yeah, it's a bit better now.
Yeah, I blame the third world internet. You know, like I say, we connected with vines and stuff here. You know,
Mm.
you used to watch Gilligan's Island. You know, all that stuff the professor make. That's like how it is here. That's the whole level of tech.
Mm. Well, we're going through the collage that was made. All the different drawings.
That one is.
First, hmm?
Oh no, I'm looking at some of them. The one with the there's a lot. That one with the down lighting.
You mean this one?
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
actually, I'm a little bit behind on YouTube. But yeah, the one below that too. With the two of them. Some dramatic lighting on some of them. Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty nice. I like the first entries we had. This mine, obviously. It looks better in white paper, but I don't know. Been going through all these. Let me see. Where was it again?
Or did he? Do you guys know if he actually saw it or?
Nope,
Is he
he hasn't liked it. Don't know if you saw it. He liked one drawing though, one individual drawing, but not ours for
Oh,
some reason.
I mean,
that guy who had the drawing like he could put it on his resume or something, you know. Liked
Yeah, I
by
mean he
me.
worked throughout. He worked like 8 hours straight on it, on like the last day or something like that.
Which
Yeah,
one was
this
it?
guy. For some reason, it worked really long on it, like last day. But he had like 3 months for it, so I don't really get why he would.
Maybe it's because it looks like Tower Dungeon. It's from
I
Tower
mean, yeah,
Dungeon.
it's literally just because it's Tower Dungeon, and that's why, yeah, he liked it. But I don't know, the whole thing has a lot of Tower Dungeon in it, even the background. So I don't really get why. But oh
Uh,
well, I mean, it worked fine in the end. It was not the worst thing. Here's your entry.
I mean, the aim was not to get recognized by
No,
Nihei
no,
in
it was
person, even though, I
obviously for the
mean,
fun
I,
of it.
I
He is
understand
a
that
nice extra.
it would be nice to
that
be
that one with
recognized
the
by
texture
him,
on the
but
face was really good.
Really detailed, yeah. Lots of good artists this time. Like I don't know, we're like 5 short this time, but I mean, but last time we also had 2. That was like a shitty Wojak meme and then stick figure. So
Ah,
I mean,
well,
you know,
I do. I mean, if I was a artist, that people was tributing, is that it will actually probably be kind of interesting to have people who now learning to draw. It might be interesting to him to see, oh well, at least I inspire in this person, to do something.
yeah. I mean, it's fun to participate into it. They have some other events now too, or like begins like this month with like make 10 pages of Biomech or something, your own version of Biomech. But I don't know. One page took me already so long. How the fuck am I gonna do 10 of these things? So I don't know.
Well, 10 stick figures, or maybe they're in the
Yeah, that's also an option. You just 10 stick figures and just hope that works. Hey, this guy
I
makes him.
mean, even him, you could see that there's panels that he put together much faster, and then you have like the money shots.
Yeah. Of course. I mean, some not all his drawings are like that spectacular, obviously, but some are. If, it's better than a Wojak meme or just like I don't know. I could make 100 stick figures and just put them in the collage and boom, I'm done. But I'm like, yeah, what's the point of that? It's not really that interesting at the end of the
Uh,
day. I mean, I guess one guy, but you know.
I will say though, like, don't discount stick figures because we have how to call it, One Punch Man and this kind of thing. You know.
I mean, yeah, the original webcomic was also not the best, obviously, but it was made originally for fun and then got turned into a manga, etc., etc., etc. But Mob Psycho got really popular, so oh well.
Hmm.
But
What you
yeah,
guys been looking at or reading?
I've been watching Delicious in Dungeon, the one that they're going into a dungeon, killing monsters, and then eating them. I don't know, it's
Right.
pretty cute watch. Has some elves in it, some other stuff. Like a lot of season, a lot of anime this season, and a lot of elves this time around. So it's a bit of an elf season, you could say. Just people constantly just memeing about him, about it, etc., etc. The more popular shows. Hey, it's better than still fantasy, but it's better than just double isekai just being at the top all the fucking time. So I'm voting for it.
Yeah, I think well, I actually look at both of those Dungeon and Free Reign.
Okay,
Yeah,
nice.
I'm not up to date on Free Reign yet, but Dungeon like I'm not deep into the how to say
Yeah.
role
Isekai.
playing or role playing in general.
Roleplay. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know much about them, but you know, I think that for those people, there's a lot of references and stuff. Well, even I know about the mimics.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, the both of them actually have mimics. I like that. That was something that was invented for games, and now like is like actually a character in a lot of anime, like that. Like within the world of them, they have the mimics, and they had a what was it? They had a twist on them with the coins, or maybe I shouldn't spoil it.
Coins? Yeah, no, I'm in like an episode 4 of Dungeon Meshi, so.
Okay, all right, well, yeah. There's a lot of interesting things that they do. It's like, oh, but by the way, is that is not considered an isekai though, because it starts off in that world. I might be
I
misunderstanding.
mean,
What,
Dungeon Meshi is not an isekai. Nobody dies by truck, gets sent, is a loser, dies by truck, goes into another world and does something retarded. No, it's not this time. I mean, it's
right,
still it's still pretty stupid, but it's not that kind of show at least. So
right.
that's and also fair
Yeah,
and also the same.
I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't really know that there were words for all of this. It seems like anime just have like these very fine delineations of things. I know there's like a huge amount of shows that have like this long title. How I tripped down the step and you know died and woke up as a Goomba or something. It's like a whole bunch of them.
Yeah. It's a huge trend nowadays. Even one of
Yeah,
these posters of Dungeon Meshi. Where is it?
yeah. I kind of wish I could get all the references, but yeah, that would take 20 years of playing D&D, and it would probably
Oh yeah, I'm also not bothering with those. Take me
make
too
me
long
worship
to get through.
it'll probably make me worship Satan if people are to be believed. I hear that is
Yeah,
what Dungeons and Dragons causes. It makes sense.
yeah. But even
You
this
know,
poster has like a reference to the thing. You see this helmet on the bottom with
right?
tentacles coming out with. That's from the thing. Like I'm kind of surprised that a fantasy manga would have something like that. I mean, it's, kind of
Or
sci-fi fantasy in a way, but
it reminds me of those guys from Resident Evil 4. Like there's this
yeah,
armor. Yeah, But what you're saying that's a reference to
to the thing. Yeah, it has to be. It's an upside down head with the legs coming out and just walking around. Yeah, that's clearly the thing. Obviously, I know where the episode that is from. It's from the episode that they have living armor or something like that. Also a big, small spoiler, but yeah, I don't
So
know.
that's that thing in Dungeons and Dragons. I live in a armor that has a monster in it.
Living armor, you mean?
Yeah, like you saying that is a reference to something from Dungeons and Dragons.
No, the thing, the movie, the thing, the 1982, the thing.
Okay, yeah, no.
Where they can
Nice poster, by the way.
Oh yeah, and the rooster. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's fun. It's funny, of course. Let me see the thing. And then let me see gifts or something. Yeah, here you see the head on the background. It's something like this. Or I have to go to.
I mean, this movie was so huge
Okay.
when it came out the first
I'm
time.
seeing it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, this guy is a fan of all of this stuff.
I mean, probably. I have no clue. I'm like, I saw that. And I'm like, yep, that's from that. I mean, I've seen it too many times to not see. Obviously, I mean, I've streamed it a bunch of times, saw it my own, etc., etc. So it's like, I don't know. The effects back then were like pretty good. I mean, the practical effects for that time. I mean, they did a thing in 2011 that was all CGI, but it was horrible, obviously, because it ages like sour milk, and it just doesn't work. They should have gone with practical effect, and the movie would probably be 10 times more entertaining. But stuff like that just doesn't work. Yep, nope. Ah.
But
I love
I
this
saw
kind
that.
of trash.
yeah, it's
Right.
fun.
I mean, there are so many movies we could watch that have this kind of stuff. That I mean, especially if we look into Japanese trash horror movies.
Oh yeah,
There are a
yeah,
ton
oh
of
yeah,
those, like
dons.
Uh,
So
I'll say,
easy. I mean,
I think I'm not sure if it's that practical looks
Reanimator is
more
like a good
real,
example.
or that it's just more interesting to look at. You know, and I wouldn't say that real is always the word to use, but it does like you know like early CG doesn't hold up, but old cartoons still have something about them that doesn't age as much, and I think it's similar with practical and versus CG.
Yeah. I mean, it just depends how well you do it and like how much detail you put to it. I mean, it can still suck if you don't know what to do with it. But you know, in general, yeah. I mean, anything can just sour really bad if it's really crappy made. But you know, I'm like, yeah, I get it. I mean, I don't know. But yeah, but this comes from a guy that does it for so goddamn long. I mean, was it made by Phil Trippett? Yeah, pretty much Phil Trippett from uh God, what was the last movie already called? God damn it. Fuck. Man, I've seen it in theater. What was it again? But anyway, yeah, yes, yeah, he is from the 2011 movie, the CGI. Yeah, that just pales in comparison. Obviously, that just doesn't work. It's not gonna look great in like 10 years time. And the practical effect, I mean, it's not the best. Obviously, I mean, you can still see it's fake, but. And the funny
I,
thing about the 2011 version was they had everything for practical effects done basically, and then it's just like nah, CGI is better, and just threw the practical effects away, and it's like barely anything in the movie, and it's just all CGI, and that's why it flopped so much.
well, I wouldn't necessarily say maybe that is the only reason why I haven't seen it though. But to tell you the truth, but I do think it might have things that the CG one wouldn't be able to do. I mean, sorry, that the practical one wouldn't be able to do that the CG one could. Um,
Yeah.
but it might be the limitation because I think we was talking about this with Evangelion movies since the CG is not really that interesting because he could do anything and change it as much as he wants so that the stuff kind of blended together. Like I can't remember one particular scene in the last Evangelion movie, but I could remember everybody could remember, the dual fight in the original, with him and Asuka
Yeah.
fighting together. Everybody could remember that, you know. So yeah.
But yeah, Mad God, that's it. Yeah, it's Phil Trippett. He made like 35 years just on stop motion. Worked on RoboCop, Star Wars, also on Jurassic Park. Yeah, Jurassic Park, and list goes on basically.
what a legend.
Yeah. Worked on a lot of different stuff, obviously. And Mad God, funnily enough, has the same beginning as Junkhead. So it's like also a huge manga fan, huge Blame fan, which has the same beginning of getting lowered down into a huge structure. One is just pulled down, and the other one is rocket down. But same thing. I don't know. Don't know if it was coincidence or one looked from the other. Probably the guy from Junkhead to Mad God, but I don't know. Wait, let me show some of Mad God. Mad God. Yeah, I saw this in theater. I have to buy maybe the Blu-ray at one point in time, but oh man, it's just like story-wise, it's like it seems like three different types of stories, but so it doesn't really make much sense. But and it also feels like the characters go nowhere with anything. But visually, it's like top notch because this was like a project like 30 years in the making, a passion project 30 years in the making. So it just makes for a really interesting world.
Right. Yeah. Well, similar to Blam, you just kind of strap in and see what's happening. You
Yeah,
might not
basically,
necessarily
yeah.
understand. Yeah.
I
But in
mean,
here, it was more say like, the character, you think he's gonna survive? Nope, and then it just goes off basically. But I don't know. Visually, it's still like, I don't know, 10 times better than you would see from 2011. The Thing, for instance. And he also had the Thing in like the 50s, yeah, in 52 or something like that. He had also a version of the Thing, but they didn't really age that well because they couldn't really do the horror aspect of it that well. But I don't know, it did an okay job for the time it is. But I don't know. Oh
Yeah.
well.
But,
Rather
yeah, but
seen
what else
anything
have you
else?
guys been? Yeah. Well, yeah. I was gonna ask, what else have you guys been? Well, what do you think of both? Yeah. Have you looked at Furin at all? Or
No, only Dungeon Meshi basically, and Pluto. Yeah, I've been watching Pluto on episode 4 now.
uh,
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. It's pretty well
I
done
still
adaptation.
I still had to check out that one.
Oh yeah, it's definitely worth it. The way to get to everything
I
for the
mean,
manga.
if it's faithful to the manga, I mean, it's going to be really nice to watch.
Yeah,
Like,
Urasawa knows how to do his
I
his
mean, like
stories.
Monster was a one-on-one adaptation of the manga, if I remember correctly.
Mm, yeah,
So
yeah, pretty much. I mean, with 74 episodes, I mean, you probably can get everything covered just to make something really that awesome. But with Pluto, I only read like 3 volumes or something like that. But then I just kind of skipped it. I had no interest in it anymore. But I don't know. Pretty interesting. I also saw the Silo. This is like an sci-fi story in a giant. Basically, the surface of the world is gone. There's some kind of virus roaming around, and people are just trapped in a giant silo or like a giant
Now,
mech structure.
I don't think it's a virus though. I think it's just a totally inhospitable environment. Um,
Yeah, I don't know. There's a kind of vague on that, so like what exactly it is. But I already watched all series, so I don't really know what's happening. I don't know, but it had some kind. But the series had some weird plot holes, like a hard drive that is 140 years old and works perfectly. I'm like, that doesn't that that's just not happening. Like most hard drives can like last for 10 years max or something like that, and after that it's just
yeah, just
corroded and nobody can play them anymore. So I'm like,
you might be surprised at some of the stuff people recover, but just you just had to kind of go with it for the sake of the show. Just don't think
yeah,
about that
yeah,
too
I
much.
did eventually,
You
but
know,
I don't know. That's just kind of like, it's kind
like
of
think
weird.
about
But
it.
hey,
If we really like, we could have just used like if it was an SD card, then you would have accepted that. I think that it could
yeah,
survive 10 years. So I mean, as long as I think they wanted it to just look a little more techy, a little more old timey, then I should say. They
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
want
true. The
something,
computers were also
uh,
like 80s style,
yeah,
with the
like
green
in here,
backgrounds, etc., etc.
you know, they, they wanted like in Alien, why do they still have CRTs? Wouldn't LCD be the best thing in space, weighing so much less? But I think it's part of the look of the show to have in the first Alien how they had big monitors and old time keyboards and
Mm-hmm.
now that was just the tech at the time, but you notice that they kept it for Alien Isolation, which I
Yeah,
thought that
yeah,
was
yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. I watched the majority for the mecha structure, basically. Yeah, there's some nice mecha structure, like you see in pics in here from like the giant silo from up to down, and all the different levels they have, and the giant drill that they had to build one of these silos. I don't know. It had a nice atmosphere. The plot was not really my thing, I guess, but I don't know. Yeah, I had a fun time for it for what it was. I mean, probably season 2 is gonna come out at some point in time, and not really sure when, but I don't know. That's some pretty nice mecha structure in there. Just really had a good feel to it, like something lived into it, and just like it being too clean, because that wouldn't work for a world like this.
Yeah, I was thinking. Well, I had started to read the book, but I didn't finish it, and then actually the series came out. So I watched that. But I really want to see what the twist is because something's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Something,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
something's going on. So
I know already, but
yeah,
I
but
don't know. It's not. It's the twists are not that hard to figure out what's gonna happen. I mean, at what I thought in like episode 3 or 2 or something, it happened at the end, so it was not really that significant of an from. Oh wow, this happened. I'm like, yeah, I already thought that would happen. Basically, it was not really that.
It was predictable, I guess.
Yeah, pretty the predictable, yeah. But I don't know. The basic of the show was that they live in a silo, they have a camera showing the outsides with people littered about because they're sent out to clean the camera just to keep people in control so they stay inside, and if they go outside, they die. And pretty much from episode 1 you could say that it's just pump up the suit with gas, let them die, hence and repeat basically. And in their helmet, it looks like it's the green world, and they have to clean the camera so the rest will see the truth, but obviously it doesn't, and they think then that the camera that they see is fake, and they altered it, etc., etc., etc. But I don't know, fun watch. It's not you have the camera, etc. But I don't know. The yeah. I don't know. You would say like, oh no, I wish they would do that for Blame, but I'm like, nobody's gonna give you a studio a huge budget or a good team, a good director, etc., 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 to make something like that. I don't want to see Blame even more ruined than the movie that we gotten. So yeah, I don't think we're gonna get that. I'm like, Chris, how would it go and do all the safeguards, all the creatures to do that right? I mean, it's
well,
gonna be.
they did give them a budget to even make the short movie. Let's say that Netflix did. I would not even guess that because I would have said it's too niche anyway, even for that budget. So you never know.
Yeah,
You know,
hopefully not.
sometimes sometimes I think what happens is it'll catch the interest of somebody in Hollywood who's big time, and there will be something like they'll have somebody, yeah, like look at David Cameron making Battle Angel. Like that is such a
Mm.
niche thing. Nobody knows about it. He's been trying for 50 years to get it made, and he finally did it. So, but only because he was somebody that had that level of clout.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's only because of
so I
that. But
think,
I'm like,
yeah, and,
"Look,
and I mean, this was imagine the time that he got into that. It was even anime was even more niche than it is now.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, 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 yeah. I
it's
mean,
practically mainstream now. So I would say it's probably greater likely. a greater likelihood that it'll be made now.
I mean,
Now that
yeah,
so
but
many
like
people,
something like IKEA is also been in development hell for so goddamn long to release that, and that's also on a massive scale. So it's a bit difficult to make stuff like that just a reality, or not just look and not make it look like a cosplay fest, or just bad CGI or a combo, or like acting that wouldn't really work, and if you look like at the 2017 movie, that they make a lot of the characters really moe and etc. So I don't know. What would he do for live action? Would it go also that route, or just try to be way more towards the manga? Probably not, just to get more to a general audience, but more mainstream audience. But I don't know. I just want to see an 2D version that's like as close as possible to the manga, basically, or just like in style and presentation, like the 2003 ONA, which I made a 25-minute video about with the 2007 thing. But it's way too late for those. So. Oh well, I think like the 2017 movie was like the last attempt for making that. I mean, in 2007, he already tried to make a movie which didn't get around till 10 years later, and then it finally get out. So I don't know, it took him already so long to get the movie up. So I don't know.
who knows? Who knows? I would have. I was surprised they made a Sidonia movie. I mean a Sidonia series.
I mean,
I
yeah, that
wonder
was
why
pretty
they
popular. Obviously, it was pretty mainstream. His first really mainstream series that got mainstream in the first place, and just built up through a cult following. So yeah, I don't know. For an anime got way more popular then, and then and after season two, then we had nothing for a few years, and in 21 we finally got the last movie and got everything out. So I'm like, yeah, I don't know. It makes sense that we got series and things out of it. I mean, it was the longest series of like 15 volumes, so it makes sense that it would work really. Like something like Blame is just way more difficult to make into anything, or something like Abrav Biomac with their convoluted plots that nobody can really make something out of it. Yeah, Sidonia is just way easier to follow. It's just a bit too easy, but that's why it works so well, because it's way easier than those stories. I mean, Christ, how would
I
you
never
do Biomac as a story?
I never read the manga for that one. I should check it out. For
The Biomac?
no, for Sidonia.
Oh, I mean, it's all right. It has its plot, obviously. It's like still got this lore, it's still got this world, etc., etc., etc. At the time, I thought that was his most easiest manga ever. Till we got to Kaina, but that's something completely different. But you know, could be worse in general. But I don't know, and we probably won't see in. I don't know. Maybe we're gonna do Tower Dungeon as an anime. I mean, that's pretty popular at the moment. Now the first volume is out, and everybody is reading that. And he himself is promoting it, etc., etc. So I don't know. Maybe that will get an
Well,
anime.
it's speculating. They didn't confirm anything yet.
No, no, oh no, 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 no. I'm pretty sure, like I don't know, from the popularity that will manifest into is something. I'm like, for a possum is nothing has come out. So I don't know. It's possible, but kind of doubting that will come into anything.
The volume has came out in Japan, the first volume.
Yeah, it's like chapter 1, 2, and 3 probably, because 1 and 2 are like 90 pages each. So you could easily fill an whole volume with that. So that's pretty easy. And he probably had enough time to make those as long as they were, because he was working on the anime. I had to he didn't have to do much on that, so he probably had just extra time to work on the manga. I'm pretty sure.
Which one are you talking about here? You say he did not work much on the anime. You're talking about
Yeah,
which anime?
for kinda.
Right. Okay, I'm just making sure. That one, I watched the movie for it. I think it might have. I don't know. I feel like something was missing with it, But
Yeah, it was not the best thing. I mean, it had better pacing and it had better, it had more going on than the whole series. The series was just a nice watch, but not much really to get from. I mean, and they had more build building, etc., and they could get more out of it just to speculate, theorize, etc., etc., etc. But I don't know, it was better in the series, but in general, it was not the best thing in the world, really, and it was just kind of corny at the end.
did they ever finish the manga for that or continue it even?
I mean, they're still doing the manga. I mean, they're like at the end of on the TV series. They're gonna probably jump to the movie, and then in a few chapters they're probably done. I don't know how many chapters they would do the movie. It can't be that long, but and like 5 chapters are like translated at this point. So like, how many chapters are there now? Like 10, 15 or something like that. Or like now more, probably 20 or something, but yeah, I don't know. I
Okay, I was
mean,
wondering if they would continue or if they would stop or what they would do.
they probably just go into the movie and then just end with that, just to keep up with that. But you know, mm,
I feel like there was a lot of more interesting places it could have gone. I was wondering if he kind of, you see, he can't be losing interest in it, like how, like remember how we kind of finished the Possums kind of quickly.
mm,
I don't know if you remember it.
yeah, I mean, it got really rushed in general to. Yeah, they got really rushed to get to the ending, and I got a bit of a soma ending for the game from the game, and also a bit of a Netzer ending, and just a lots of explanation. But they skipped the big war in the ending between the dolls and the rest of the world. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe they just want to get rid of. The editors wanted to get rid of the manga as fast as possible, just wrap it up and then just exit. But I don't know. That's more a theory that the editors have exited. But who could be sure if that's really the case?
Were you guys playing anything?
I was playing Planescape Torment, the enhanced edition that came out in 2017. I mean, I am like 3 hours in the gameplay, and there is so much dialogue. I mean, I would say that dialogues are quite important for the story. Do you know this title?
This is a remake or a remaster.
It's the same game. I would call it remaster, yeah, because it's a version that allows you to play it more easier to play this version on a modern PC.
Right. So what is it? I've never really played like a PC RPG. It might seem kind of weird, or I should say like a CRPG. Because I mean, I have played Morrowind, but I wouldn't call that like a CRPG. Maybe it's
and this one is quite old school. I think it's even the late 90s. It came out first during the late 90s, I believe. And
right.
I mean,
I remember it was huge. It was
I mean,
it was
many people regard this game as one of the best stories ever told on a video game. So that is why, I mean, I got into it because a friend of mine recommended it to me. Then I tried it, and I mean, you wake up as you start the game inside this mortuary. You came back from the dead basically without knowing your name, why you ended up there, why you rised up after dying, and I mean, there is a lot of mystery. With the story, you want to know more, you want to know everything. And I mean, the graphics are outdated as you would expect from an RPG from the late 90s, but I think that the artistic aspect of the game makes up quite a bit. I mean, I wouldn't call it a game that appeals to somebody who is used to modern graphics or anything like that, but I mean, there are worse things to look at, I think. Have you ever considered playing it yourself?
yeah. It was something that when I got a PC in I think 2001, I was looking at the top rated games, and that was one of them. But I never got around to playing that.
I mean, you can play the original game on any PC, basically, even the first PC you ever got. I think it's going to be more than enough.
But it was more about like I was more into action games, or even if they were story heavy, there was still real time combat.
I mean,
the first Deus Ex.
Yeah, and here you have to read quite a lot of text if you want to enjoy the story, to really consume the content of the game. It's quite important. And actually, if you don't want to miss important stuff, you have to start with certain aspects of like the character traits. You can choose if you want to have more strength, constitution, intelligence, charisma, and so on and so forth. But basically, if you don't want to limit yourself, I mean, I prefer to go blind. Like, if I want to play as a fighter, I will go that way. But if you want to beat the game 100% one day, maybe on a second playthrough, you have to follow a guide without question. Otherwise, you are going to lose yourself in it, and you won't see many dialogues options. And yeah, but overall, if it's something that I can recommend if you like a good story.
Okay, the technical aspects of some of these hardcore RPGs is what kind of drives me away, if that makes sense. There's a lot of, and I know that these games, they would allow you to spec a character that would make the game impossible. And you wouldn't necessarily know until you were quite far into the game. If that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like you could build a character that's so unbalanced.
I mean, you just, in this case specifically, you just choose the class based on the points you give to each stat. I mean, that way you can choose to become a mage and unlock more dialogue options. But if you, I mean, the character itself, the story of the character is just one. It's not like something like Neverwinter Nights, the first game, because I mean, I'm more familiar with the first one, but of course, the same goes for the second one. That is also based on D&D, like Planetscape is, as far as I know. I'm not a huge D&D expert myself, but basically, when you start the game, you create the character, you can choose many aspects or even pick the pre-package level up option for you, so that you just play the game and you level up automatically as you progress into it. But with Torment, it's slightly different. I mean, yes, you can pick a class over another, I guess, but you just have one story, one character, the story of that character. You can't even change it if you want to be a male or a female like you can in those other games. Like even Dragon Age, the Dragon Age series, I only played Dragon Age Origins, which it's like a spiritual successor to Neverwinter Nights. Even then, you could change more aspects when you build your character. You can change the gender and so on and so forth. Yeah.
Okay, so it's not as but it's not as hardcore as some of them, which
I mean,
that forbidden. I think the kind of games I'm talking about where you could spec whatever you want, and then the game kind of paints you into a corner, but you don't realize from the beginning.
I mean, those games are still video games that should be accessible to everyone, even someone who is not that into RPGs, and therefore it's possible to figure it out how to do things and proceed and build a character. And so I wouldn't be too concerned about that personally. But of course, some people are just put off by that and therefore never approach those games to begin with.
Yeah, but it's weird though, because like I have played a lot of JRPGs, but they aren't. I mean, that they're nowhere near as complex. Usually.
I mean, when it comes to JRPG, I mean the old school ones specifically, because I haven't played. I mean, I've played the Kiseki series from Falcom. I haven't played the last 2 or 3 chapters, but up till Cold Steel 3, I have played them all, and I mean they are still fairly recent. But I mean, you just have a set of character and story that is, you can change the story that much. You can prioritize minor aspects of the gameplay, which party you prefer to use over another, how to build the stats for those characters. But that's pretty much it. You don't have the sheer amount of customization you have with RPGs, classic RPGs, where you build a character from scratch, you change the lore, you have access to way more options. And JRPG is by definition, I mean, for the most part, linear experience. Story-wise, you have those characters, you play the stories of those characters, and that's it. You don't do much more than that. There are maybe technical aspects of the gameplay that share aspects in common with Western RPGs, but it's just about it's nothing more than that. I hope I've made myself clear enough. And also take what I said with a certain amount of salt, because I am no. Yeah. Go, Qbhall.
I think yeah, but I think I kind of get that feeling in a lot of games. Like the Japanese games are like they have a set story that they wanted to experience, and a lot of the Western games they are a lot more open-ended, and it could take more of a active role in crafting the story. Then,
like for example, the Suikoden games by Konami for the first PlayStation and the PS2. Basically, they are JRPG like the Final Fantasy series and others, but you had this character with, you could change the name, you can choose the name of the main characters, and the main character was most of the time 100% silent. Sometimes during the story you can choose a list of options on the dialogues, and by doing so you will be able to change something. You can even unlock bad endings or better ending depending on the choices you have made, and that aspects put Suikoden, the series, a step above other JRPG titles where you have no options whatsoever. You can just follow the story and that's it. You can't do anything. So yeah, that is the only exception that coming to my mind right now. Maybe there are others, but yeah.
Well, I don't know if you ever played it, but I feel like we mentioned it before: Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross.
Oh yeah, I mean, speaking about things that Akira Toriyama worked on, I mean,
Yeah.
Oh well.
I mean, the first Chrono Trigger at least was.
Oh yeah, the second game I think was Nobuteru Yuki, who did like Escaflowne designs and stuff.
Oh yeah,
But,
maybe. Yeah, I mean, I haven't played that one. Yeah, I guess there is something about picking options and choosing more than your standard JRPG, or no? What do you think?
You're talking about Chrono Trigger or Chrono Cross or the both?
Chrono Trigger, the first one, Chrono Trigger. Chrono Cross is the sequel.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff you could choose in it. Well, I mean, I think that was one of the first big JRPGs that had so many endings. I think there was over 10 endings. There was a lot of gag endings. I don't know how familiar you're very familiar with the game, or
No, not that much actually. Actually, it's one of the games that I know the least of.
okay. Yeah, so it's there's like a lot of parts in the game is set up so that you could fight the boss, the last boss at different times. So depending on how much you complete at the game, different things will happen. Which I think is like an interesting way to do it. So like if you finish half of the quest and you beat the final boss, there may be guys that I suppose they would have defeated later on that are still players in the game. So, they go about and they do their own things. And there's a lot of joke endings too, but there's a lot of and also there's I think there's a lot of stuff. I don't want to spoil too much, but there's a lot of stuff that you could do that changes the world because it's going through time. So there's a lot of things that they could do in the past that will change the future.
Oh yeah, I remember the series was about time travel or something like that. Then it makes sense to have elements that can change the story or have multiple endings and yeah.
And a large amount of it is actually optional. Where it doesn't affect the story that you get at the end, but you could still do it. Like you could save you could save a forest. I don't think that changes a huge amount in the final game.
It's something different still.
Yeah. So I thought that was really interesting. That was kind of and I've definitely seen like a lot of Toriyama's artwork for it, but I feel like I don't know. Maybe there's a book that collects a lot of it, a lot of the world art and stuff. But I feel like that is one where and Chrono Cross, where we don't. I feel like we don't have enough of it. Like that Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross. I think two of the best games. Like even when I played them at the time, I used to think, oh well, this is what games are now. So every game moving forward is gonna be as good as this. Yeah, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. I mean, I don't know if you ever had that experience as a kid, where you think it's all gonna be this good forever, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and it's but still there hasn't been a lot that has challenged them. There have been many things that claim to, and there's a lot of stuff that's inspired by them, I think, but not really quite surpassed. I don't even know if Square even wanted to, if they could make it these days. Uh, which it sounds kind of weird, but like you would think that the people who made it in the first place could make it again, but I don't think it's always that easy.
I see.
Because so many other people, I mean, apart from Toriyama, like all those guys they've either moved on or they're not even the same people that they were at the time. I feel like they were a lot of stuff. I think is like a product of the time and where people were at the time, and that's why they can't make it again. I mean, you look at Star Wars. The original creators can't really make that. It was like in a bottle at the time. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
It
Same
does.
with Dune, for instance, with the books
Oh,
originally.
I actually did see this. The new one.
Dune Part 2. Yeah, I watched
Yeah.
it last week in the cinema for €1. Yeah, nonetheless, with a special pass I could get some money off of it. So I don't know, but
Nice.
yeah, the movie itself was pretty darn good. It's huge battles. Our main character got more into power. Like the future we're told. Huge battle with the worms, or the funny business you can do with a popcorn bucket. Yeah, this thing, a lot of memes were going around by that. Uh, why you make this something like that? I mean, I get why, because popcorn, but you can also do other stuff with it.
Yeah,
Oh
we can't
well,
even. Could it have a flat base? The popcorn container, does it actually have a flat base that I could set down? Because it looks round there, but it might just be the angle.
No, you just put it over your popcorn bucket, and then you grab into the worm, grabbing your popcorn. But yeah, lots of sex jokes is made by it, basically.
Oh yeah, well I mean that is just the obvious one, but
Yeah.
that's like that guy from there's like a Futurama guy that says that,
Oh really?
What interesting there's a gag in it somewhere.
Yeah. But what do you think of the movie, by the way?
Well, yeah, I liked it. I'm surprised that this. Well, I heard a friend of mine was telling me that the agreement with the director was if the first one made enough money, they would greenlight the second. I don't know if you heard of this. I don't know if it's true.
Kinda like something like that. Like I don't know, they weren't sure if they would make two, but I mean, if the first one was that popular, why not?
So that's what I was wondering. I was wondering if they would get to make the second one. And I actually kind of surprised. I mean, pleasantly surprised that I got to make the second one. Because a lot of this, I wouldn't have thought it would have made as much. It's not exactly Guardians of the Galaxy then. You know what I mean?
No.
Right,
It's not. It's basically another version of Star Wars, but only a bit more serious than Star Wars. And yeah, Guardians of the Galaxies was like the first movie was just explosions, and after that,
don't let it Dune fans say that though, because it would be the reverse since Dune come out first.
Yeah. The books came out first. They came out in the '60s, and then after that came the Star Wars movies. But I don't know if Dune was made before Star Wars. Maybe that would be the big series that everybody would talk about. I mean, it's really popular, but one had 40 years to go through it, and the other one has just a few years. So, but well, I mean, it still makes a lot in the box office, even in its opening weekend or something. It made like something like, I don't know, what was it, 50 million, 12 million, something like that. I don't remember how much it was, but
Yeah, I was.
a lot.
That's part of why I was surprised. I was surprised it made that much. I mean, like look at I thought it would be another Blade Runner.
Mm.
Blade Runner was a show that I liked a lot, but I think it was a huge bomb.
Yeah, 2049. Yeah, I don't know. Visually is what stemmed well, but and like got a lot of memes, so it got a lot of exposure, obviously. But I mean, you could have done also another Madame Web or something like that, a shitty Spider-Man movie. But
that is really a surprising one, Madame Web.
mm.
I was wondering, did they think it was? Were they trying to make like another quirky movie like Venom and hope that it found an audience somehow? What was the deal?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that really was the case. Maybe they just tried it again. Like the first movie with Venom really worked in that regard, and then the second movie, third movie got really sloppy and got really boring at the end. I remember watching that; it was really disappointed. Madam Web is just so bad that it's funny, and so bad that it's good, but not good in a good way, but just funny, and it's just. I don't know. That's the only thing that really worked in their favor, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe just go in the direction just making dumbest movie possible and see if it sticks. Basically, just throw anything at the wall, see if it sticks. That's probably the mentality that they have at the moment, just to make anything. I mean, if you try so many things for so long.
What did you saw Madame Web actually, by the way?
No. Just a review on it and memes on it, but I haven't seen it myself. But I don't know if I want to see it. I mean, it seems fun to watch. Maybe you can stream it if I can find it, but I don't know. It's a new movie, so doubt that that's really easily online somewhere on YouTube or whatnot. So you know. And the scenes with like with the haircuts, with their skin and these huge stadiums. I only thought about Silicon Life, like, oh man, there's like a lot of Silicon Life in one place, like being bald, having no skin color, etc., etc. Like the perfect examples for Silicon Life here if I want to explain something. And they want to keep the chaos on because relentless murder, whatnot, etc., etc., etc. But in Blame, there were more like just groups and not just a huge force that just tries to murder out anything they see. Like Star Troopers in Star Wars, for instance. But, oh well.
But what are the Oh no, that was a show where I think there was a huge amount of CG, and I don't think people complain about it.
In Dune, I mean, yeah. I mean, if you have the right budget and you choose the right things, then it can work if it's like realistic enough, like a huge desert, for instance, or like a stadium, or like you build a part of an in some studio, you build something and then green screen it, and then it can work if it's realistic enough. Then it can work if it's like fantastical, as in like their first Dragon Ball Z live action movie. Then that doesn't work because it's just it's too much fantasy and too much CGI you need to use to actually need to work that, and it was also a really boring movie, so that really flopped. So I don't think they will be doing that anytime soon, especially now with the creator being dead. I don't know. Do we have to really need to use him because I don't know? There's enough material for that, but the story is just too fantastical to make any live action really work for that. So you know.
Yeah, I don't know why they are. Well, I guess money. Money is why
Yeah,
they
of
try
course,
anything.
money would work
Uh,
with that, but I doubt that will
I don't
work
know. I
any.
mean, do they even make money? Has any live action ever made money? Has
I
any live
mean,
action ever
if
made money?
what's it Ichi, what's the movie again? Ichi the Killer.
So this
Yeah,
is
that really made movie. That really made money. That was really popular.
The
And
one from the
Old
okay.
same
So
Boy.
author who did Homunculus.
Yeah, Homunculus. Yeah, that was also really popular. Yeah, that was also, yeah, pretty popular. But yeah, it was also really well known from what I've seen. I haven't seen the movie itself, but yeah, that would have really worked well.
okay, so this is a live action.
Yeah. Live action adaptation of the manga, specifically. But yeah, there's like it's like it's a really select few that really work. Like the majority is just you know fucked up, like the Death Note live action movie that really fucked, that really didn't work, or there could just cosplay fests that don't work, or just CGI like in Parasite. But they wanted to make another series of that. I saw from Korea. They wanted to do another series on that. So I don't know if that's gonna work, but I don't know. What's the poster again for that? Parasites
So this
series.
is a Korean.
Korean
Uh,
adaptation, yeah. Hey, yeah. The gray, yeah, that's it.
Yes, basically the same.
Yeah, basically the same story, but then just again with CGI. But I guess that's gonna be better. I don't know if they can pull it off, but I don't know. I don't know.
Yikes.
I don't know. I mean, I
I would
remember like
I
stuff
would
from
go
like
with the manga, honestly.
yeah. No, but a normal Japanese city that would work, but then you go into the CGI and all the stuff you need to do with that for the creatures. It's like, if they make it practical effect, like the Thing, for instance, then I would pay money for that. That would work. Sure, why not? They could do it in 1982. Why couldn't they do it now? I mean, CGI can't just solve everything. All your problems can be solved with CGI, like we've seen many, many times before. But
The thing about CGI is that probably less expensive than doing practical effects with things.
yeah, it's cheaper.
It's cheaper, and therefore, if they can go that route, they will.
Yeah, just to save money to get the most money out of it. But even though they know that it's gonna flop probably because you know
oh, but
they
it could.
didn't spend too much on it.
It, I think it depends on what it is, right? Like,
Yeah, it depends how fantastical the world is, or just how much character's gonna change, or how a creature looks, or etc. 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 I mean, I know for like live action for the Bleach movie, for instance, that movie was set in the beginning of the anime and the manga, where we're in Japan, normal Japan, and sometimes you get some monster popping in. If they did a live action in the spirit world, then would have worked. Then would the whole
ah,
thing would just be CGI,
okay.
and it wouldn't fucking work. It would just be too much CGI just to even make it believable. Obviously, for that kind of stuff. So that's kind of the problems they would go into. That's why they choose the beginning of the manga, because that was still based uh in the normal world. But it's also for like, I don't know, March commits like a line, or what was it again? And again, something else that's just set in a normal movie, set in a normal drama, etc., 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 etc. And then you can make a probable movie because, it's not a cosplay fest like Brotherhood, for instance. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood also made a movie, but it was just a cosplay fest. So it's all kinds of things to just make it work or try to make it work. So yeah.
Okay, so you think that there's some, like in that case, it was a part of a manga that was grounded so that they could make it live action
Yeah.
without a huge budget. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? In that respect, uh, Death Note is probably the perfect one to do because it is pretty grounded.
Mm-hmm.
Is a very grounded show, right? In most respects, there's not a lot of supernatural elements going on, right?
In Bleach or in Parasite, you mean?
No.
In Death
Death
Note.
Note.
Oh, Death
Yeah.
No. I mean, no, Death. I mean, yeah. I mean,
The
many.
Shinigami.
Yeah. The Shigami isn't really going off the rails with that, but that's just a few creatures you have to do CGI. I mean, they have done a lot of CGI movies for that. Like beginning in 2006 was probably the best version. They haven't gotten not the best CGI, but the story was true to the manga and the anime, so that really worked out. Just a few locations were different, but it just ended the same. And then in 2012, 13, 16, etc., 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 got even a mini series after the manga was set, etc., etc. But and then the 2017 movie was just a huge drama that didn't work at all. It was just a shit show. So yeah, it just depends on who is gonna do it and how much of the source material you're gonna change for your movie. If you just change it all the way and just make something else from it, then it's not gonna really work in the long run. Like with the Death Note 2017 movie, that was really just going places that just didn't work, and the actor was just too basically he played a loser or like a really, really nerdy guy that got, that was really good with mysteries, etc., 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 and then, became light as we know it, but, it just changed too much of the things so that the characters wouldn't be doing what they were doing in the manga or the anime or the original movies, for instance.
Oh, I have to say though that casting that guy as the Netflix one, right? The Netflix
Yeah.
Death Note, right? Casting what's that guy again? Willem Dafoe.
Oh, Willem Dafoe, yeah, that was the best.
He was
yeah,
so
he did
perfect.
Luke,
You
yeah.
know what? They should have embraced it. They should have just had him just lurking around without any makeup.
I mean, yeah, he has the face for it.
I would be more afraid if I woke up in the middle of the night and Willem Dafoe was standing in the corner than this thing, this apple eating freak. You know what? Just have Willem Dafoe eating apples. Carry that across. He will be able to do it. That's gonna bring people to the cinema just to see it.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, people would make a lot of memes out of it than just,
He would have been
this
so
guy.
great. He was. So wait, how many adaptations have there been, and have the fans liked any of them?
2006,
like-
a lot, like probably 10 at this point. They have also a mini series from a few years ago, so like a lot basically. A lot of versions have been out there.
So let me ask this: have any of them ever expanded what we already know, or made theories? Like people used to always talk. There's one thing that I find really disturbing and haunting, and that is where light. There was one of the rules that says if you use the Death Note after you die, you go to somewhere else. You go neither to heaven or hell.
Yeah.
Did any of them ever expand on that? I find that was a really
never. No, I don't think so. They really expanded on that. I mean, they. I know they went after the original series. They went on with the thing, and I know some fan some fan ending, alt ending that Light basically went to the Shikigami world, but stayed alive kind of through all. He just relived all the killings that he had done. So every time he did, somebody gave a heart attack. He got a heart attack. Got hit by a bus. He got the
Oh,
feeling
that's
he got
funny.
hit by a bus, etc., 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 etc. And then his plan was to take over the Shikigami world and become the king of the Shikigami world because he has like 10,000 deaths on his record or something like that, so he can live long enough to become that, in a sense.
Oh, that's like Shishio in hell, you know. In
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember. Yeah, I know what I like in that.
Well.
Just as an aside, in the Rurouni Kenshin manga
Mm,
and the anime, that means that hell is a real place in that manga. In that world, hell is a real place.
yeah.
And he talk. That's what I say. I find that so interesting. I mean that the supernatural exists in that world,
Mm,
right?
mm, mm,
It
mm.
has to mean that because um, have you ever read you've read all the manga?
No. Just
Okay,
OVA from like 95 or something, was it? Or
right.
96? I don't remember.
So you don't know the actual overall story
I
of
mean, kinda,
Ken.
yeah. I know that the
Okay,
guy, everybody in his that he lived with was murdered. He got a girlfriend. At the end of the OVA, the girl got murdered. He got his second scar, and he went on
right.
as a
Okay.
samurai to the series.
No, by the way, that is that that is totally separate from the anime series and the main plot of the manga.
Yeah, it never
Right?
gets pulled up in the anime. Yeah.
Yes. Well, that is what I'm hoping for the new one, but I don't know. A lot of people, including myself, don't quite like the look of the new one. Um. Uh. I don't know. I don't know. I don't like the look of it. A lot of
Mm.
people uh a lot of people saying just give it a chance or it's only because it's CG. I'm sorry, it's only because it's digital production. But
Mm.
and you haven't seen it either, right?
The live action version of that? No. I mean, I
Oh
know
no,
that
Koma.
they
Sorry,
made live
Koma.
action versions back in the day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Koma. You're not familiar with the Rurouni Kenshin
Yeah, I watched
story at all?
the OV and the manga. I've read the whole series.
Okay, okay. Yeah, what do you think of it? I don't know if you ever talk about it. Uh,
Mm,
at, at,
what did I
what do
think
you think
about
of?
the the live action? Or
Well, I haven't seen the live action. I mean the story as a whole. If you've read the manga.
I mean, I haven't watched the live action. That is something that I haven't. I watched the OV. I have read the manga, but I mean, I don't know. I've heard good things about it or those because I think there is more than one. But I mean, I don't know.
No, but what I'm asking about is what did you think of the manga?
The manga is a decent shonen manga, but I don't know if it's still old decently after all these years because I mean it came out in the early 2000 or the late 90s. I mean around that time between the 90s and the early 2000s, and I mean I don't know. I should reread it. I need to reread it, but it's a battle series of there is like the main characters that has this element of redemption because he killed so many people when he was an assassin, and then he started to change his way of living and stop killing people. Even when it comes to protect people around him, he doesn't want to kill anybody. But I don't know. I mean, to me, it doesn't look that outdated compared to something like Kimetsu no Yaiba or Demon Slayer, if you know it by the English title. But I don't know. It's been
Uh,
so long. after I last read the series that I can't say for sure if it's still something that fares well in today's age. But I guess it does, because it's still a relevant series. I mean, Nobuhiro Watsuki is still working on something Kenshin related, right? Maybe in Japan it's still quite popular.
Yeah, well,
As
he working on a follow-up manga, so it following the adventures of them after.
Yeah, in Hokkaido, if I remember correctly, the Hokkaido
Yeah,
saga.
but I don't know if I mentioned, but that is the anime series is probably the most loved one here in Trinidad.
Because it was dubbed in English, if I remember correctly, and
Yeah,
I don't know. Of course, it has many fans over in the United States, I bet.
Yeah, so like they never adapted the final arc, so only recently did I sit down and actually read the final arc.
I mean, if I remember correctly, they have announced a new animated series, a new.
Yeah,
I don't know if I remember. Yeah.
Well, it's currently ongoing, but
all right, I'm out of. Yeah. Continue.
Yeah, well, the a lot of the direction of the new one is not as strong as the old one. I don't know if we could look at a couple comparison scenes. Maybe not now, but on the Discord or something like. But there's like parts where I learned so much from the original one because the budget was probably super limited there, so they did a lot more with framing and stuff. Like they would try to make maximum use out of this minimal amount of resources, if that makes sense.
I don't know if it does.
Right, so they would be like they would use interesting angles. They would have, like, if two guys are talking, okay, we have like a whole minute and we have like 10 yen or something to do this whole thing, but we would choose an interesting angle to draw it, and we'd move the camera in like an interesting way. We use like Dutch angles or something, or that kind of stuff, and like I feel I can't overstate how influential that series was. I mean, to me, but everybody in Trinidad, because I think it's a masterclass in directing, because of some of the ways that I did things. Really maximizing. You have a cool pose. Just even as simple as that. We focus on an interesting angle, an interesting pose. We show things in like an interesting way. It was I think it was probably the first anime that I really had access to, and it was when there was maybe it's a little before your time, but there was a time in probably in the mid to late 90s where they started using like a lot of slight computer effects in anime. Like they would have like light effects and water reflections, that sort of thing, to kind of add something to classic style animation. Glows on the sword, little things like that. It mightn't sound like a lot now, but at the time, because remember, this was still almost entirely an analog process. Physical drawings, physical cells. Look at some of the comparisons. And
I mean, it has less personality than the previous one. The previous one was more similar to the manga, I'd say.
I think so. But there were episodes where I don't know if you ever look at anime where it seems as though an entire episode is almost seems directed by one guy, or drawn largely by one guy, because there's continuity within an episode, but not between episodes. uh, it might sound kind of strange,
I
but like
mean,
there's
different series have like guest episode, guest animators or guest episodes, so you have different people just animating the whole thing differently. For Doro, I remember like lots of different episodes were just drawn like completely different from the rest of the show, and like you know,
right. So is that because how to say? Well, I do think, and I've been studying it in Gargoyles of all things. I don't know if you know Gargoyles, the old Disney series.
you
But
mentioned it before, yeah.
yeah, but basically they would have like A episodes and then probably B and C episodes. So the A episodes would get the best animation. These are the most important, right? The whole
Mm-hmm.
episode was probably close to movie quality, and I think like we see some of that here in well it probably appears in like a lot of other series too, but because Ken Rurouni Kenshin, or well we call it here Samurai X, because Samurai X was probably the one that I rewatched the most. I was able to really see it. So there's episodes where they say, all right, we're gonna spend some money here, you know, and then there's episodes where well we run out of money, we saving up for that big episode. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. Like in whole episodes,
Yeah,
just talking, pandering around, doing nothing, and just do episodes like going full force with the animation. Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Like
yeah.
Space
So this
Dandy
is
didn't really have that problem. That was just one episode would just be talking all day long. No, there would just be animation all the way, constantly, and every episode had something going on than just nothing at all.
yeah, So but for such that's a relatively short series. I'm surprised they had to pad it out, but maybe they're like they say we could have mid animation throughout, or we could have a few episodes with you know a huge amount of animation, but we need to cut back in another episode. Yeah. So that is a series I need to look at. I haven't seen that. I haven't finished that. I haven't finished. Was that mecha anime that people was losing their shit over several years back? Gurren Lagann.
Oh, Gurren
Uh,
Lagann, yeah.
yeah.
That's also
I ain't seen that.
Also
really
anime.
beloved community.
Yeah, I haven't. Well, I've seen a few of them. I haven't finished that. I haven't finished uh, Kill la Kill, which everybody was also losing their shit over. I
Yeah.
haven't finished. Um,
Neither have I, or never watched really.
yeah, there's
I
that.
watched both of them from start to finish.
Well,
Uh,
since I watched Cyberpunk, I say I should go back and see all the stuff that these guys did. They do a lot of interesting things. Um, in their painting too. Like I think that the painting is unique. I think that is part of what makes them look different. I don't know if you ever really, uh, I don't know. Maybe I'm looking too close at it, but there's a way that they paint stuff that makes it a little more interesting, and you could almost kind of tell, okay, this looks like something Trigger doing. This looks like something that
mm,
Trigger made. You know,
yeah, that kind of animation. Yeah, I know what you mean. I know the style you're talking about. Yeah,
but
I mean,
it's
they
not
could.
just the style animation though. Is the painting like like sometimes they paint the lines too.
Yeah. I mean, like Mononoke does it, and like their whole anime is literally just a moving painting, basically. The whole style.
Which one is that?
Mononoke, the anime Mononoke,
Oh yeah. I tried to get
the
into
anime
that, but I found
series,
it
not
hard.
the anime Hime, by the way.
Oh yeah. I found it hard to get into. I think the style is a little too much for me. It's a little distracting. But I wanted to watch it after I watched Mushishi.
Yeah. Also classic. Also the same type of guy and deal in general. Yeah.
Yeah, I should really try this again. I was looking at an ancient anime. Nobody's boy Remy is one of those masterpiece theater uh series. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
No, what's that about?
Yeah. There, if you look up Masterpiece Theater Japan, there's there's like this is a series of classic series where they adapt usually they adapt a Western classic like Heidi Gill of the Alps. That is a popular one.
Oh, those
Right.
kind.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, those kind of things. Those
On
kind of
our
shows. Yeah, okay.
yeah. I don't know. You ever watched any of them? I find them nice.
I watched Haiti. I watched that back in the day on TV or something like that. Yeah, I watched that back in the day.
Oh, what you were saying, Koma?
Many of those came in Italy, and they were all dubbed. So I am familiar with most of them, like the one with the red hair girl with the braids. I don't remember the
Right.
title. Yes,
This
that
one?
one. Yeah, that one. But pretty much most of them came over here in Italy.
Okay. I,
Konnichiwa Anime, I think it's the title.
Yeah.
so
Let me see.
they're beloved over there in Italy.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're very famous here. I mean,
okay.
from the people who
Anne
grew
of
up with.
Green Gables. Hmm.
Anne of Green Gables. That might be the one Koma talking about.
Hmm.
Uh,
The
but
Duck of
yeah,
Flanders, also really well
I,
known.
I think I think we could see that this is like proto Ghibli, right? Except
Yeah,
it's not science
kinda. Yeah,
fiction. It's not
that's the style
not
down. I mean,
not fantasy.
They
You know,
were
I
the
think we
same.
got
They were all based on Western novels for children, I think,
right.
for
Yeah,
young
so
people. Mm.
I think this is what like how Miyazaki he like a lot of European stuff.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, so I think this is probably I think they worked on some of these and Takahata also. So that kind of what started it. Also, we got one of them here. That was the Peter Pan one, but that was before I knew what anime was. So I think that was actually a masterpiece theater one that we got.
Mm.
Um, yeah, but there's like a lot of anime that I watch because it's calming. It's not stressful like Mushishi. You know, like you don't always want high octane all the time. You know,
No. It's
I
really,
mean,
it's really episodic. Like one episode, it's more like, it's like half of the time it's just really calm scenes and just like really calm episodes, and other times it's just straight up horror. So it's like just a
yeah.
mix of the two. It's just like horror scenes
But
with really calm anime
overall, the
quality.
mood I think was calm though. Like it wasn't, and even when there was horror in Mushishi, it wasn't. It was
It
almost like
wasn't jump
calming horror.
scares all the time. No, it was more atmospheric and more like
Yeah,
more of the drama kind than actually just your normal horror movies.
yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love violence. You know that, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not all that I like. I mean, after reading uh YKK, I really started to think a lot about it.
Mm-hmm.
And look at a lot of different because that is such a difficult mood to get in stuff that
Yeah. It's it's a type of It's, yeah. Not a lot of series have the kind of feeling to it or kind of style to it that they want to portray. Area had that, Mushi. Uh, you know, and the last volume is
yeah.
gonna come out. Volume 5 of YKK is gonna come out soon, probably next year, something like that, or was it this year? Yeah, probably this year.
The sooner the better. Have you got volume 4?
Yeah, I got in a few weeks ago.
How it is?
I mean, page wise is pretty good. I mean, nothing is too dark. Pretty. pretty sure. I mean, Volume 1 and Volume 2 for me are still like that. Maybe I have to change them out, but they're not that old, so you know.
So do you able to sell the old ones when you're replacing them, or how do you
I
do it?
mean, on one side I want to, another one I don't really want to because then I wasted a bunch of money on that, and I have to buy a new one just for some better paper quality or it's just some better image quality. So like it's like I
I
could
mean,
at one point in time, but
I'm not recommending this, but some people would just order a new copy on Amazon and then swap and return the previous one
yeah,
in exchange.
now that's too late for me because it's like way too
Ah,
old
shit.
to do now. But
Yeah, of
Oh yeah, well, I
course.
mean, like, just imagine in Trinidad, like it might take 2 weeks to get here, and then by the time you check it out and I notice something wrong, it's far too late to send it back, So
yeah, fuck.
I mean,
even
unless
by the way,
Amazon gives you a special treatment only because of your location or something.
you know what? I actually did once. A guy, I think he got the wrong region video game. Like he get a PAL region one, and it didn't work. And they was like, all right, look, we will send the correct one. Just keep that because it will cost you more to get it back. And we'll
Lol.
send our next one. Just keep it. We ain't dealing with this. So I mean, rarely yes, but sometimes like sometimes it might be difficult to get a return for something because you know how companies give difficulty to take returns in America, much more when somebody from some country nobody even heard of, right? So yeah, I remember once there was given a friend of mine a lot of heavy questioning, he bought a computer and it just dead it. It just freaking dead it. And it was like, oh well, you might have been plugging this into, some kind of weird generator, nobody, giving out 600 volts or something. But eventually he was able to get it because, that they try anything that they could do to discourage you from returning shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, and, in a way, like, I could imagine them being a little more suspicious about other places like here because, because we're so far away, I guess maybe they're thinking, well, we can't lock up this man. We can't call the police for this guy if he's pulling some kind of scam. So we had to be more suspicious. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, look at these shows. Like, you're seeing a lot of Ghibli here. But one thing I didn't like, well, not so much that I didn't like, but I would have liked for more of them to have more magic. Because I think there's only like one of them. I think Peter Pan is the only one with any kind of supernatural or magical element. The rest of them, I think, are totally grounded. And I think that Future Boy Conan as kind of a successor to these. It wasn't an official part of it though. But Miyazaki did direct that entire one, I think. You know it? Future Boy Conan.
Future Boy Conan, yeah. I've heard of that.
Yeah, Koma, if you haven't seen it and you like Miyazaki stuff, I think you'll like that. Because it's probably like a proto Castle in the Sky / Nausicaa. Future Boy Conan, yeah. And I think I mean, Ghibli always had a kind of simple style, like because they focus more on making a lot more frames. So, but the characters are simpler as a result. And I think you see a lot of that in these World Masterpiece Theater shows because they're made on a TV budget. So, but they have a lot of great landscapes. If you I mean, look at Future Boy Remy. Not Future Boy Remy. Nobody's Boy Remy. Like a lot of great background paintings. And a lot of great layering, multi-plane technique, really. I mean, timeless. Like there's some parts where like this layering doesn't even make any sense. How the hell is this? But you don't really care too much.
Yeah.
By the way, Q, have you heard of Somebody's Dreamers? So maybe a show for you. It's like a witch that goes from the countryside to the city and goes on these episodic adventures trying to solve people's problems. It's on a
Okay, that's
video
sounding
from the
good.
greatest anime that was made in 1969 and just goes over a few unknown animes.
Oh, somebody, or we could forward that to me in the Discord. That sounds exactly like something I would like. Yeah. Like I'm dealing with a lot of sometimes dealing with a lot of stress. So look at all them anime that I haven't watched. It's
I
like,
mean,
oh
yeah,
god.
it's like not the most well-known vid, but I mean, I picked up some shows that I didn't know about, like these. What was it again? Like this kind of anime was based on a fairy tale. It was like a really distinct style. I forget the name about it. What's the name again of this thing?
Oh, what is this?
Yeah, there's the title, but I don't know it in English anymore. But it was pretty interesting visually. The story was just really simple, but like visually they went really all out with
Right.
like everything.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of sad that more anime doesn't experiment.
Yeah, not like this. No, it's like a bit rare nowadays to get really experimental anime. I mean, I know
But I
some
mean,
other anime, like what was it called
shouldn't it
again?
to do that with all the tech that people have and people in their bedrooms
Folk
making
Tales
things?
Japan.
Sorry, say that again.
No, I
Oh
was
no, some
reading.
anime that popped up in there. Like I don't know, yeah, the 80s and 70s had a lot of this kind of anime. Just make something for kids, but just make it real experimental for some reason.
Right.
I don't know.
I like how sometimes within these shows there's like a little bit of nightmare fuel that is sneaking.
Yeah,
Not
true.
all. Not,
Steven has also talked about in the video about kids anime that has some horror elements into it, or just want to convey
look
something
at
into it. But
that thing is friggin' sick. That castle, that crazy castle. Oh man, this is where I was probably getting influenced. Damn, look at that. Look at that run.
yeah. It's been a couple of years since I've seen this, but like, yeah, it's really pretty for like the concept art that they used for it.
Yeah, I get the feeling like a lot of stuff. They want this stuff to look not like a drawing, and I think is, what I mean. Like no, I like Makoto Shinkai enough, but I feel like this is a little too clean. This is too perfect. It needs to.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. It could be that they first done the animation and then they did the story for it. I mean, sometimes that happens with different anime.
You mean when
But yeah, we'll probably forward the video to
Yeah, before that. I mean, I always looking for stuff. I mean, I buy I have a, the tiny computer Raspberry Pi.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have it set up as like a tiny server here. So I just download stuff onto it and I just watch it on other devices. So it just make it a little more convenient. So that I don't have to go on the websites and stuff. And select them. Yeah. So I had 2 terabytes to play with. That
nice.
something that I just sometimes the internet is not the best, so it's good to stock up.
Yeah. And with this anime, it's like they use real life photos and then they put the animation in, and you just get this certain style in it, basically.
Okay. The
But I don't know.
the Adult Swim promos where they have like sometimes they have like cartoon characters over like this.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's looking cool though. Oh, they animate the shadow over it. That's cool. Yeah, you
That's
know,
a
it's
really
like
simple show. Not much too extravagant about it, but yeah.
I mean, you know, uh, one would think that we would be seeing more experimentation now. I would have thought that. I would have really thought that we would have been seeing all kind of crazy shows coming out.
I mean, sorta. I mean, we had like one. What was it again? It was like a show about some stars. What was it called again? That kind of anime. Pop stars. Yeah, from those. Japanese pop stars, teenagers, and I basically had an anime for that, like a 12-episode anime. It's like somebody's egg or something like that. I don't know. It was a season that really got really experimental, and then the OVA just fucked it up. Basically, and they had no money for that anymore. But
Not
I don't
Wonder
know.
Egg or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know the name anymore. What's the damn name again?
Wonder Egg Priority was one I saw. Not, no, I didn't see it, but I saw.
Priority
I saw.
egg. Yeah, maybe that was it. A girl in a yellow.
Wonder Egg Priority.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know anything. I don't know anything about it, yeah, but yeah, I don't know. It's where they say that, like you say, they say that people messed it up with the final one.
But the OVA they messed it up basically, and it just didn't work at all. But I don't know,
Well,
something like that, or like I don't know. I have to think of something recent that was really experimental. Probably something like I don't know. Born in the Abyss, or what was the show called again? Christ, why do I forget everything?
Made in
Made in
Abyss.
Abyss.
Yeah, Made in the Abyss. Yeah, yeah, that. Oh well.
Yeah, I want to see how that guy ends that. You know, I want to see how that finish.
Yeah, true. I mean, season 3 is gonna take a couple of years, obviously, to really get finished. But
Well, like I've been reading the manga and it's really disturbing. So I want to know how they'll translate some of that stuff.
Well, yeah, the movie Children of the Sea that was really experimental. That was from 4Cs, like the last movie that was really all out, basically.
That was really great.
Oh yeah, I mean that and I hear it was supposedly torturous working conditions. They say.
Oh yeah, sweatshop stuff to really get it all done. Barely getting paid, people overworking, etc., etc. Basically, a nightmare to make it. I mean, the early 2000s they could do it all the time, and nowadays it's just like they barely could got it out of the gates, basically.
I wonder if I don't know if this is true, but I read that they made Castle Cagliostro in like 8 months. Could that even be possible?
I mean,
I find that really hard to believe. That is.
I mean, maybe over exaggerated, like Akira being the most expensive anime ever made for the time, basically. But
Well, I find it hard to believe that that could have been made in 8 months. That is just too much.
I mean, yeah. I mean, anime was totally not popular back in the day. I mean, nobody bet an eye on that anime when that first came out. Like this was just like, oh no, it's just for kids. Who gives a shit? That kind of mentality, yeah, back in the day. But nowadays it's just one of the classics.
Well, it was. I mean, I presume it was big in Japan. I mean, Lupin was a huge a huge deal at the time, right?
I mean, the first movie wasn't really. I mean, the first anime that really come out, like nobody really bothered because it thought, oh, it's all this stuff is just for kids, especially in the 70s. So nobody really bothered with it. Obviously, Lupin the Third became really big later on in the series and just grew and grew and grew. Same thing like Blame. Like when Blame first came out, that nobody bet an eye on it. It just
Oh yeah,
got the
but
cult following
mhm.
later on, and Lupin the Third got more mainstream. Obviously, is a whole different deal. It's not Blame, but
but
you get
I
what I
get the
mean.
feeling that Lupin was already big at that point because he had the series before that. He had a couple
Yeah,
series of
yeah, but that
before
was
that.
more for like for kids, just and then just you see it on TV or whatnot as a kid, and just that's about it. It's just it doesn't reach a further audience than that. It just reaches kids and everybody that just sees these movies, especially at that time. They thought, that's just kids' movies, so they're not for kids, they're not for me, so they're not gonna watch it, and just little kids are just gonna watch it. So nobody really bothers with it, especially back in the day, and especially in the West. Obviously, nobody bothered with anime back in the day, especially in the West.
Oh, but you guys, you're looking forward to anything that on the horizon supposed to be coming out?
Yeah. I mean, for what is it? Junk World is gonna come out from the same makers Junk Heads. It's gonna come out in like 25 or something like that. Maybe Parasite I'm gonna watch. There's some other stuff. Trigon eventually. Oh yeah, tomorrow I have an City Hunter Angel Dust. I'm gonna watch in the cinemas. I
Oh,
don't know if that's gonna be the last entry, but I hope not, because I have not watched anything of the series really, just bits and pieces. But
I don't know. I don't think I know anything about that one. Um,
I mean, pretty well known ASCs from the 80s, just in shooting detective series with a lot of sort of edgy stuff also into it. But I don't know, it has some good
oh,
OPs though.
Angel Cup. Okay, I still haven't seen it, but I know the name.
Yeah, yeah. City Hunter is like from like 1984, and then it's just still going on in movies now. Like the last movie was like in 2019, and this year came Angel Dust out. So like, or was it last year? Maybe it was last year, and still getting played in theaters. But you know,
Okay, but
but I guess that's it. We're like over 2 hours now, so
Yeah, we are.
yeah. So well, that was it. Subscribe and all that good stuff, like and whatnot. And see you next time.
Bye
later.
bye.
Bye
Bye.
bye.